So we look at practicing the golden rule to allow us to avoid conflict instead of trying to solve conflicts. Now we know that there is no perfect world, but we try as best as we can to maintain peace, and that's the second P. We work towards preserving the planet, that's the third P, and that's about our environment, being very aware of taking care of the place in which we live. God gave us this beautiful earth for us to maintain it, preserve it, to protect it, just as how we want to protect each other.
He handles his finances. Takes care of his family. He don't care what anybody else say about him. But if what they're saying is trying to help him in the right direction. Okay, he don't take on the old talk. Okay?
He
listens to positive talk.
He always got time for himself and other people.
He have time for himself and other people. He's what? He's seeking people who are wiser. He's a family person. What? He owns up. Oh boy, now that's a big one. No, I want to pause on that one. I'm pausing on that one. Say that again. I didn't hear you properly. He owns up to his mistake. When he does rubbish, he don't cover up. Huh? Exactly. And some boys who are 50 years old do that too, huh?
Some 16, 17, 18-year-olds who do it.
Yeah. But one of the things that makes a man is that he will own up to his mistakes and take responsibility for his actions. Alright?
And your word is your word.
Your word is your bond.
Your word is your bond.
And it ain't junk bonds. Serious bond.
Yep.
Integrity is one of the very big words. Why? Huh?
Something that human carry.
How makes
you
it
accountable?
Accountable. They're dependable, and it means that you can trust them. You could leave $1 million here on the table and walk away. And when you come back in, you know the whole $1 million they're still. All of that is part of integrity. That you're true to yourself inside of you, even if nobody else knows what's going on. Let's do some things now. So we had some things that were about character. That this person that we call it a man is somebody who is dependable, somebody who has integrity, somebody who we could rely upon, somebody who will be truthful, somebody who will do the right action whether people looking or not. Correct? Now we go into some other aspects of development, because what makes a man is a man who has a plan and who is willing to put out the action and make this plan come to pass. Everybody good with me? Yeah? Alright. So we have some characteristics, but we also have some developmental things that we're dealing with. I want you, there's a notion, and that notion is authentic integral development. I want you to hear it. Authentic integral development. It's the development of every person, each person, every dimension of the human person. Let's say that together. It's the development of every person, each person, and every dimension of the human person. So it's the development of, right?
Health.
And when you're running, what are you developing?
More speed and
Health.
more endurance.
Yeah, but what it is? It's a physical development.
Okay.
PQ, or physical intelligence. That's bodily intelligence. You have to be IQ, or intellectual intelligence. The second one is EQ, or emotional intelligence. The third one was PQ, or physical intelligence. And the fourth one is SQ, or spiritual intelligence. These four intelligences have been given to us naturally. To become a man, you have to develop each one to the best of your ability. Everybody with me now? You see where we're going? Eh? To become a man, you have to develop these four to the best of your ability. So there's a phrase I want you to keep at the back of your mind like a mantra. Becoming the best version of myself. Say that together.
Becoming
the best version of myself. Say it again. Becoming the best version of myself. Let me ask a question. Anybody in here thinks right now they're the best version of themselves? Come on, man. Raise your hand, man. Wait, nobody? Nobody make a contribution to the world, and the world will change. The world changes not because God waves a magic wand, or because we have a bright idea. The world changes when we are becoming the best version of ourselves. Everybody good with me?
Yes, sir.
You sure you're good with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what makes it difficult to become a man?
French cake.
The friends you keep.
Challenge.
Society. Go ahead.
State of money.
Challenges.
State of money.
State of mind. What again? What again?
Talk. Negative.
Negative thoughts. Maturity.
Temptation.
Temptation. There are plenty of things that make it difficult to become a man. The first experience of becoming a man that you have had, you wouldn't believe this, but listen carefully to what I'm saying. The first experience that you have had of becoming a man is powerlessness. Think about it for a moment, and I'll explain it to you. Normally when we think of manhood, we think of virility, power, and being able to do this and being able to do that. And we think of the man as a man with power. But the very, because I don't know about you, but you could try as you want with your head to tell that thing to do, to go down. And it ain't going no way. True or not true?
True.
Or some of you have ways that... So we begin the journey of manhood right at puberty by knowing that powerlessness and not being master of our house is part of coming from boyhood to manhood. That's how we begin. That's the physical and the biological. Everybody with me on this? How that feeling? Huh? How's this feeling? Fellas looking like they're embarrassed and curious. Huh? It's weird, huh? It's weird. Because we always teach young boys that becoming men means being powerful, being virile, going out and conquer the world, make a stand for this and do that. But you start off the experience of not being master of your own house. You would carry the boy through a rite of circumcision. Everybody knows what circumcision is?
Yeah.
What is circumcision? Taking off the foreskin of your penis. And the second lesson here from the body that ancient cultures teach us, not only are we powerless, but the reason for circumcision is to make you more vulnerable. Nothing hiding and protecting. Nothing could hide your manhood and protect your manhood. Because when you get circumcised, you're completely vulnerable and exposed. Everybody with me on this? 2006. By January 2003 as appointed, and by Good Friday 2003, we had 5 murders in 6 weeks. Serious. And as I started working with the gangs, the gang leaders, the lieutenants in the gang, and the young people in the community, one of the things that was really the real problem was that these guys didn't know how to be vulnerable, and they didn't know how to be powerless. And anytime anybody made them feel powerless, the first thing they did was pick up a gun and go to shoot. That's the first thing they did. And I had to talk them through other ways of dealing with powerlessness besides reaching for the gun. And how did you act? And what did you do? And I want you to think now of what else you could have done in that situation. Because one of the things I had to do with the guys is create alternatives for them when they felt powerless. And teach them how, when you feel powerless, what you really do. What are the alternatives? So I'll give you a story. after the two leaders decided, 4 leaders decided, we will have no gunfire. One, they had come into the community, and here the 2 of the lieutenants, one of the lieutenants went and was firing the gun in Upper Gonzales. So when I saw him, I called him and said, God, you're a madman or what? Your boss tell you no gunfire. The next one said no gunfire. I tell you no gunfire, and you go and pick up a gun and shoot up in this community. You gotta be mad. I started quarreling with them. I said, what made you do this? He said, Father, I had to tell them. I said, what do you have to tell them? He said, I do not walk up the road there. Down below and Patters up on top watching me. And he only jumping me all the time. And I tell him, stop this foolishness, and he don't want to listen to me. So I went and take the gun and I went and shoot up in the community because I have to send him a message. He used the gun as a tool of communications. Because that's the only way, when he felt powerless, that's how he could communicate to the next side what he was really feeling. And what he was feeling was what? Vulnerability. Disrespected because he was feeling powerless. You with me? And that's where we have to start, brothers.
And then learn how to good. Learn how to control, develop control. You see what he said? He said, becoming a master of your own house. That is important. That is important. You have a lot of people in society who are never taught how to control themselves. How to and let me tell you something, you can't master nobody else before you master yourself. You gotta master yourself first. Okay? You have to master yourself first. So that is one key point I took away from that. Okay, becoming a master of my own self. Making sure that I am in control. No matter what you say, because you can say what you feel like, but it's how I react to what you say. And what I do, and by my actions, you already said the lieutenant did. Now his boss told him, no firing. You told him no firing. But what did he do? He still knelt there and fired. Because he didn't learn how to master his emotions. And that is something that's very critical. EQ. Okay? Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is very, very critical. Man, it's man here. It's man here. It's man in parts. You ever hear that term? Okay? But that's what I'm saying. You know what he said? Anytime you go, man here. You go do what he said. You know, man? I had to learn that. Let me tell you something. I had to learn that. Myself, I'm married, 2 children. I had to learn how to master my emotional intelligence. Okay? So what are some of the other stuff that we pick up from what our teacher? Good. When you feel small, you don't have to solve it by what? Resorting to what? Violence. Anything else?
It takes a lot to be a man.
It takes a lot to be a man. Sacrifices. What else? Any back? Let me hear.
Make the plan and work towards it.
Being
Make the plan.
made a plan.
Work towards it.
He made a plan. When he came into the community, I guess you saw all the violence, everything. I got a plan. I can't just come in here. I have to have a plan.
Correct.
Right. So he made a plan. And what were some of the things that he worked towards? What were some of the things that he put down in his plan? What were some of the pointers? To end violence.
Create peace.
Create peace. And teach them. True, how did he teach them? By dialogue. Dialogue. And reasoning.
He went to the head too. He went to the head.
Thank you. He went to the head. And that is something that is critical. Now, the seminar that we have here is a male what? A male, look at your handouts. A male leadership program. A male leadership program. I think that is something that is sadly lacking in our society. Leadership. Leadership. We have a lot of people who talk, but we don't have a lot of leaders. Because a leader don't have to go up there and puff up his chest, son. You know, as a leader, you want to hear what he say. Nah, that's not a leader. You know what leadership involves? Teamwork. Getting down in the trenches with the men. Don't be talking, man, yeah, man, you go do what you say. You know how many managers or how many people who say they are leaders? Not only that, they can't do the job. They got enough talk. But one of the critical things that you see in any leader is that they are the ones who you can follow as an example. They lead by action. They don't lead by talk.
What do you think about today's session?
It was a learning experience for all of us as men today, and I'm glad that we met this organization.
Yeah. Very great.
Next week.
I learned a lot in this program as a man. Learn to own up to your own mistakes, no matter what happened in life. As a leader, don't feel small because everybody is the same. That's what it is.
Very great, great. What one piece of advice would you offer your peers?
To always make a plan and keep God first.
If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. So you must always keep that plan, and so that when you get older, whatever the case maybe, you'll be able to follow through it and get through it. Like,
Alright, thanks. What did you think about today's session?
Well, I think it was very helpful, at least to me. It will show me how to be a better person. Yeah.
Alright, what I think about it is that it will help me to become a better leader.
Alright. And what one piece of advice would you offer your peers?
I guess my peers are also good to be, I feel safe.
Yeah.
Also be honest.
Yeah.
And also be a leader.
Yeah.
And make a plan.
Alright.
Like as you said, like make a plan. Also make a plan, cause when you make a plan, you can achieve goals by the plan that you made, and also like as you say, you can be a leader. Stand up to be a leader, and
Most of the time,
thank you.
Alright. Right, thanks, Larry. Thanks.
No problem.
Did you realize you needed to work on becoming the best version of yourself?
Well, late teens, and as I began to, talk to more people, and they begin to draw a lot to me.
Yeah.
There's potential in you, and
Yeah.
you need to improve. God has so much more for you to do. So I began to then channel all my energy into that direction.
Yeah.
Those key areas that I like to do.
Yeah.
Okay, I notice God uses you in those areas that you like.
Yeah.
So I then became more self-aware of teaching. I love to teach. I love to motivate people. As you could see in the session, it was very motivating, and I like to see people improve themselves. So that is when I really understood my purpose, and I understood what God wants for me as an individual and my contribution to the world. Right? To be more impactful, to help others, to be more uplifting. Because when you lift others up, then you in turn lift yourself up. Okay? So basically that's what that is what I was saying.
Great. One more question. If you were 16, 17, and you knew what you knew now, what steps would you first take to become the best version of yourself?
Well, if I was 16, 17, I would have studied more. I would have studied more, right? Not that I just studied, I have CSCs and stuff, but I would have studied a lot more and put a lot more effort into improving myself and improving my skills academically, improving my skills socially and stuff. But I always knew that I wanted to be some kind of motivational speaker, some kind of teacher or preacher. Right. I always knew that. Right. So to answer your question, yes, I would have done more. There was more that I would have done. But hey, it is not too late. Never too late.